Hi guys, this is Kristin from Printable, Cuttable, Creatables, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to assemble this Santa Christmas Countdown Ornament. This is a laser file that is designed for laser machines like Xtool, Glowforge, Aeon, and so on. So I have all of my pieces cut out and painted already. The file comes with score lines for the placement of these details here. These are optional. You can choose not to use them if you don't want them, but I like to have them there to make sure everything's placed correctly and centered. And then we have our little pieces, which if you want, you can use the cutouts that you get for like the eyes here, but then I also give them to you separately. So that's up to you. And the same thing here for the center of the wheel. You can use the cutout that comes out of here just naturally, but then there's also a separate circle piece in the file as well. So that's up to you, whatever you prefer to use, but either one will work. And again, there's also a score line on this base piece as well that you can use for the placement of this wheel. So let's go ahead and get started putting this together. So I'm going to begin with the base wheel. This is going to be the back of the ornament, and this is the wheel centerpiece that's going to get glued onto the base. So I'll just add some glue onto here and just place it over the base using the score lines as a guide. And then I'm going to use some clamps to hold it in place while it dries. And I'm just going to set this aside and set this aside, and then I'm going to start assembling the details on the front piece. So I'm going to start with the beard, and I'm just going to place it over the score lines so I can make sure I have the right placement before I start gluing these down. And then I can add some glue to the back here. Okay, and I'm just going to use the score lines that are here as a guide to place this correctly. And that should line up there just right. As I'm recording, I just realized that I have this lovely artwork on my arm. That's from my daughter, who drew one of her little people on my arm with one of her tattoo markers. I didn't realize that before I started recording, but it's all good. For the little pom-pom, you just kind of want to make sure that that lines up correctly. Okay, get some glue on there. And just put that little guy into place. And then you can grab the little face. And I'm going to put some glue on here, and then he should just pop right in there. Once we get that glue, that will just pop right in there. And then we have our little eyes, and we can use one of these reverse tweezers, can be helpful for grabbing onto these. I'm just going to use a little Q-tip to put glue on there, and then we can come down and drop it in this hole here, and it'll just fit right in there like a little puzzle piece. And when you're putting the eyes in, note that there is a little, it's hard to see it, but there is a little curve at the bottom, so it's not a complete circle. There is a little curve at the bottom of the eye that will line up with that little curve right there on his cheek. So you want to try to make sure that's at the bottom when you're dropping it in place. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and drop that in here and then just press it in place. So then we've got our little eyes in place, and then we can do the nose. I've got some glue on here. We can just place the little nose and line it up with the nose on the base. And then we can grab the mustache and pop that right under there. Okay, so I've got my glue here, and I'm just going to line that up. Okay, there we go. And then I can do the letters. I'm just going to use Q-tip. I've got some glue spread on there, and I'm just going to place this right on the score lines. So you get your word placed on there. And then I have my teeny tiny little dot for the eye. Got it in the tweezer. So I've got my little eye on there. And now I can add my snowflakes, which I painted green. You can paint them white or red or whatever color you want. So I've got glue on the back of my snowflake. Both snowflakes are the same, so it doesn't matter which one you go with. And I'm just going to use the score lines so I get the correct placement. And then I'm going to do the same with the other one. And then that is the face of our ornament. So I'm just going to let all the pieces dry, and then we're going to come back and put everything together. Okay, so now that everything has had a chance to dry, we can go ahead and assemble the rest of our ornament. It's pretty simple from here on out. We're just going to place the wheel piece over the base piece, and we see that it can freely slide around that center piece. And so we're not going to glue. I did not put any glue on this wheel piece. It just pops right on there. And then we're going to put glue on this center piece here, and then we're going to glue this on top. I'm going to go ahead and put glue on here. Okay, so I don't want to put the glue too close to the edges because I don't want any of that glue to get on the outer wheel here. And then I can go ahead and just place this on top. So center-wise, you want to make sure that that's lined up with the top of the ornament, and then you want to make sure that the edges are lined up more or less with one another. So that's that. I'm just going to put a couple clips on here just to hold this in place. And while I have that clamped, I'm just going to slide the wheel a little bit to make sure that it can move. Give that some time to dry. Okay, so moment of truth here. Let's see what we got. So now the center should be pretty dried on there. And we have our countdown. So we'd start at 25 days till Christmas, and then turn it 24 days till Christmas, 23, 22, and so on until we get all the way around to Christmas Day. And there we go. So we just need to add some ribbon on here, and this guy is ready to go on a tree. I hope you had fun making this with me. Please give this video a like if you found it helpful. I'll see you next time.